Hi everyone, it's Ryan. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make some mock meringue buttercream. So I have some decorated cake videos coming up that I want to start sharing. And so I've made a couple batches and I wanted to show you guys how to do it. It's a really soft icing that's really easy to use and it tastes amazing. So I wanted to show you guys the recipe and show you how I make it. Okay, I have 7 ounces or 3/4 of a cup plus 2 tablespoons if you don't have a scale of pasteurized egg whites. You can find these in the refrigerated section near the regular eggs. They come in a carton. Just make sure that it says on the package that they're pasteurized. So to this, I'm going to add 2 pounds or around 8 cups of powdered sugar plus 1.5 cups of powdered sugar. So if you are not starting with a bag of powdered sugar, you need 9.5 cups of powdered sugar. I know this looks like a lot, but it's all gonna kind of condense down with those egg whites, and you will see here soon. Oh, and I was going to tell you, normally I use my paddle with the silicone, but today I'm just going to use the regular one. And this recipe should be done, like, I came up with the amounts and everything for a 5-quart KitchenAid mixer bowl. So if you have a smaller one, you might need to pare down the recipe a little bit. It's going to pretty well fill the bowl to the top. So that is why these ingredients are the way that they are. They're a little kind of off, like 9 1/3 or 9.5 cups is a little odd. Normally I would just do 2 pounds, which would be around 8 cups. But for this recipe, you want it to fill the bowl. It's going to make a super smooth icing. So while this is mixing, over here I have 2.5 pounds of unsalted butter and a 1/2 pound of salted butter. If you do not have salted butter, go ahead and just use 3 whole pounds of unsalted butter, and you can add a 1/2 teaspoon of salt to this. So while this is mixing, I'm going to start cutting the butter up into little pads. It is all room temperature. I left it out overnight. So I'm going to cut it up into little pads into this bowl because we're going to gradually add it to this once this has mixed for around 5 minutes. So I'm going to turn this on. All right, I am going to pause this real quick and make sure, like, you can see that some of the powdered sugar has gone up around the edges. Make sure to knock it all down in there so that it all gets mixed up. You want all of the powdered sugar to get dissolved, and make sure you don't have any up high on your paddle because this will get kind of crunchy if you leave it mixed with the egg whites. This right here is basically a royal icing with egg whites and the powdered sugar. So you just want to mix it all. Make sure there's none on the bottom of your bowl. If you put your liquids on the bottom, you have a better shot of not getting any clumps of dry ingredients down at the bottom of your bowl. So now I'm going to turn this back on. I will rinse this before I use it again because this is going to get crusty. So I'm just going to turn this on and let it mix for the remaining of the 5 minutes. The remainder of the 5 minutes. That's the word. All right. So it has mixed for about 5 minutes. It's all come together nicely. You're not looking for stiff peaks. You're not, like, obviously you're not making a meringue. This is an insane amount of powdered sugar for that. But you just want it to all come together and be smooth. You want to make sure there's no lumps and that, like, if you touch it, now I'm going to have to wash my hands, but you don't feel graininess from the powdered sugar. So now is when, if you were using salt and not salted butter, you would add your 1/2 teaspoon of salt. I have salted butter in there, so I am just going to add the vanilla. So it is 3 tablespoons of vanilla. And as I've said before, if you're going for a whiter icing, you're going to want to use clear vanilla. But I am okay with it being kind of ivory, So I'm just gonna leave it as is. And then as you can see back here, I have the 3 pounds of butter all cut up, and it is room temperature and it is crazy soft. There's really no reason I needed to cut it all up because this spatula will be able to cut it up nicely. So I'm going to mix this vanilla gently because it's gonna make a mess. And then I'm gonna start adding my butter. All right, so that is mixed up, and it doesn't really look like there's too much on the side. I'm gonna give it one good scrape just in case, since we're not using the silicone paddle. Now I did use the silicone paddle one time to do this, and it didn't get the icing quite as smooth as I wanted. So you could use it if you wanted to, but I'm choosing not to because I want the icing to be silky smooth. And you will see that here in just a little bit. All right, so now I'm gonna turn the mixer on low and just gradually start adding the butter. I might go ahead and add like one good scoop right now. Okay, on low, and just let it come together. Now, I'm gonna show you what it looks like at this point. I have probably 3 or 4 more scoops to put in there of butter, but it looks separated. Do not freak out whenever it looks like this. It looks a little bit separated. It is going to come together. You are adding a lot of butter in here, so it's gonna take it a little bit just to get smooth and start to come together. All right, I'm gonna bring the camera closer. I've got to move a bunch of stuff here. You should see my setup that the camera is sitting on. But I'm gonna bring you in closer so you can see it start to come together. I will do a time lapse through this. You want to leave this on to mix for at least 10 to 15 minutes, but to get it super smooth, you want to just continue to mix it until it is smooth. And I'll show you, I mean, you'll see it as it comes together, but I'll stop the mixer and show you at different periods of time, just so you can see what it looks like when you might think it's ready versus what it actually ends up being. you might have to, you can see down here at the bottom how smooth it's getting. You might need to stop it and just give it a good scrape from the sides. Get some off the paddle just to make sure that everything is getting mixed in. Kind of babysit it a little bit. Don't completely just ignore it for 10 to 15 minutes. You don't want to come back and have a couple butter lumps that haven't mixed themselves in. So get everything mixed in, scrape down, and then we're going to get it started again. And I'm going to set a timer so that I know when it's been, I'll do 5 minutes, 10, and then 15. All right, it's been about 5 minutes. So I'm just gonna scrape it down. Looks like most of our butter chunks are mixed in fairly well. It's gonna seem like it's never going to get smooth, but I promise you, once it does, it's gonna be amazing. Right, now it's been 10 minutes. You can see on the paddle here, let's see, you can't see. So the paddle at the bottom of it is getting pretty smooth. You can start to see that the icing is getting a little bit shiny. That's what you want. So I'm just gonna scrape away from the top and push some of the icing that's maybe been sitting at the top for a little bit down into the bottom. Get my spatula scraped off here. And then let it go again for another 5. All right, so this is after 15 minutes. So if you wanted to stop here to ice your cake, you absolutely could. Everything is pretty well incorporated. I'm gonna bring it over to the camera so you can see. It is nice and glossy. You can see it's starting to get really smooth. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put it back on the mixer, and I am going to mix it until, the top is just going to be so smooth. So I'm going to leave the camera on and let y'all see how it comes together. And like this, I would use this icing right here to fill a cake, but the end product is what I would use to ice the outside of a cake. Because it's so smooth, you're not going to have air bubbles on the outside of your cake. You wouldn't have air bubbles if you were making rosettes or flowers, anything like that. So I'm gonna turn this back on low and let it continue to mix. Okay, you can see the magic is happening. It's still not done. There are still, you probably can't see, well, I don't see any right now, but you can, in this glass bowl, I can see the air bubbles working their way around. It's getting very, very close. Not quite there yet, so I'm gonna turn it on again. All right, here we are. Now, some of you might be thinking that was way too long to let it run, that it's just gonna be soup. And while it is a little bit softer, it is not pourable. It is still nice and set up. Let's see. I'm going to move the camera. Well, get my spatula. Get it together, Ryan. All right. Look at how smooth that is. So like I said, this is perfect for the outside of cakes. This would be great for like a macaron filling. It is amazing. So this took about 15 minutes past the initial 15. So 30 minutes total once all of the butter was in to get to this consistency. So we let it run for the initial 15 to let all of the butter get mixed in. And then this took about 15 more minutes to get it this smooth. And here I am whipping more air into it. So I'm gonna let this sit on here a little bit more. And I'm not gonna use this for anything in this video. I am actually getting ready to bake a cake. And I have 2 cakes, or that will be 2 cakes that I will have ready to decorate for you guys here soon. Hopefully in the next week, I will get to posting some of those. I'll start out with some really simple. Let me take this off the mount. Y'all, I'm gonna have some fun editing this video. What I was trying to say was, I'm gonna start out with some really simple cake decorating videos, some like rustic textured, and then some rosette cakes, some things that could be for like baby showers, wedding showers, just a simple birthday. So yeah, look forward to those videos. I'm looking forward to those videos. I'm telling y'all, these words are hard today. So I'm looking forward to doing those videos for y'all. So check my channel, hopefully next week, and I will have some of those posted. Thank you for watching. Bye.